Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning into another episode. The theme of this episode is family drama. We've kind of done a lot of family drama lately. I'm just not realizing, but you know what? There just is a lot of family drama going on right now, so I guess we're gonna get into it. The title of the first story is, I found out that my younger sister was sent away to a religious camp for her sexuality by my evangelical parents, who lied and took money from me, I believe, to fund it. I'm furious. T, because same. Trigger warnings: homophobia, religious abuse, gaslighting, fraud, child abuse, and abandonment. And they're in Florida as well. I posted this in relationships, but I was told to post here. I live in Florida, and so do my parents. This rest of this is direct copy and paste of what I posted there. I posted a thing here 2 years ago that helped me with an uncomfortable situation involving a boss at work, and it helped me save a good friendship and my job. So hopefully you guys can help me again with a much, much more serious situation. I didn't remember that account, so I made a new one. I need to give a little background to explain the situation. This will probably be long. I'm shitty at writing, so please bear with me. I work as a computer engineer and live away from my parents. I moved out when I was 18. Not because we had a particularly distant relationship, but because I was very hungry for independence and I didn't want to go to college like they wanted me to. I fell in love with programming and got a job a month after I graduated, and I've done that since. I am extremely frugal, and I now make about $70,000 a year after taxes. Go Mr. Money Mustache. Both my parents are in traditional white-collar jobs that make significantly more money than I do, and they are horrific with money. When I was growing up, my parents were semi-religious, church on Easter and Christmas type of deal, and not particularly invested in it or politics. Somewhere in the last 3 or 4 years, they became interested in it, and in the last year in particular, regarding the last election especially, they have become some of the most religious and over-focused political people I've ever seen. I've tried distancing myself from this by refusing to talk about these issues over the phone at all. I could not disagree more with them. I think they have some very, very hateful views, but I've chosen not to engage them on it. Growing up, I was not close to my younger sister, mainly because of our age gap. However, she has grown up and is very pleasant to speak to. We've spoken on the phone daily. I speak to my mom and dad much less frequently, since she was around 14. I have not been exposed to much of this because I intentionally tell both sides I don't want to talk about their drama, although I am generally clear with my sister that I agree with her, but I don't want to badmouth her parents. My sister is a lesbian, which I have no issue with whatsoever, and my parents do not or did not know and would immediately be against it. We talked about this quite often. My sister also has political views completely at odds with my parents. She was in trouble for not supporting their favorite political candidate. You can probably guess who, but I encouraged her to swallow it and suck it up at home for her safety and sanity. She mentioned a few times in the last 2 months about wanting to come out to them, and I highly, highly discouraged it. I have heard both of my parents approve of a pastor who disowned his gay son and similar stories. I didn't want them to do that to her. I have offered her to live with me when she turns 18, but imagined that being in the future. I made her promise not to do that, and she did. On her 16th birthday, she came out to them. I was a little angry with her over the phone. I didn't curse or scream or anything, but I was annoyed. But with sympathy for her position, I did chide her a bit, which I acknowledge was dumb. She was extremely mad at me and didn't call me for 4 days, which was a long time for us not to speak. We spoke afterwards, and I was much better, but things weren't going well. They didn't kick her out, but weren't speaking to her at all. Literally, she was screaming at them, and they just quietly went into their rooms, not saying a word. I offered to speak to them for her, and she begged me not to, so I didn't, against my better judgment. My dad, a week later, called me over the phone. He said that he was sick and needed emergency money to have a procedure. He begged me not to tell my mom or sister. He needed about $20,000. I had refused them money in the past for a car loan and made it clear that I wasn't giving them money, but I did for this. Cautious, but ultimately trusting him not to lie about his own potential death. I disagreed with him about a lot of things, but he had always been so steadfast about the importance of honesty. The thought of him lying about something like that seemed ridiculous, and I felt guilty for even thinking that. About another week after that, my sister stopped calling me. I thought she was mad at me again for some reason, but she didn't answer at all. I was worried. I called my parents and asked about her after about a week, and they said she was being moody. I thought they thought I didn't know about her sexuality or what was going on. I checked my Facebook that night and I read a days-old message from one of her friends that explained that she had been trying to reach me and that my sister was taken from her house into a van and driven off by men in a program with her and my parents there before kicking the friend out of the house. Her friend visited my parents' house several times and they eventually told her they sent her to a religious program. She didn't get the name. I called up my father and he denied it twice before admitting it after a long talk. I was so angry. They seriously have these religious camps that parents can send teens to anytime without committing a crime forever. I didn't think it had anything to do with the money, but I looked it up after that and I found out that these programs are generally very expensive. I called him up again and he admitted that's where the money went. I demanded that he let her out and he told me it was his money. I told him I would never speak to him again and he just ignored me. I tried calling him up every few hours for the last several days when I found out, and they ignore almost all of my calls. He intentionally didn't tell me the name of the facility or the camp. But I've done reading, and these are almost always dangerous places. I don't even know if she is in the U.S. anymore. People die and get brainwashed at these places. I feel so guilty for giving them the ability to do this. I don't know the name of the camp, and I did technically give them the money. My only recourse at this point is to go tell everyone in their neighborhood what they did. I saw a Facebook post they made about sending my sister to a snooty Christian boarding school, and that is not what they did. I called the school they posted, and she isn't going there. They are very connected to the church/suburban town community, and I think it would threaten them to have their image splattered with the truth. I would completely disown them now if it wouldn't completely destroy my chances of getting her out. I'm at a loss. Please help me.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
Oh, well, first, it's crazy that stuff is legal, especially after so much information and so many people coming out about the abuse, the terrible things that these camps do, and deaths. Like, I don't understand. I mean, obviously now that's not looking too promising, but I'm not sure why that hasn't ever been like a priority for people to be fighting. I mean, I guess I'm sure some people do fight for these camps and things not to be a thing, but I feel like it's so under the radar and not a lot of people even know that these are a thing. Like when they think religious camps, they think, oh, like religious camps, they're going and like singing worship songs, reading the Bible, like having Bible studies. But no, like they are dangerous camps. Like if you look them up, there are articles about them and they're called like wilderness therapy camps. And it says these camps, often controversial, utilize nature and wilderness settings to address behavioral or emotional issues in teenagers, sometimes involving nighttime activities. What the hell does that mean? Nighttime activities? Also, being gay is not a behavioral issue. I mean, I know that, but these dumb fucks don't, clearly. And I'm not even going to be nice about this because people that actually think that this is okay are fucking insane and they can actually go literally have the worst things in the world happen to them. I mean, I just think like homophobic people in general are honestly the worst people ever. Any type of phobic person, or like if you are genuinely like so concerned about what someone else is doing in their life, like that's not harming you at all, it's really crazy to me. It's like, what does it have to do with you? It literally doesn't. Like, that's like me being like, you being straight is actually like really making me so stressed out and like disgusted. I can't believe you're a straight person, which honestly these days, like, I'm kind of disgusted myself for being straight sometimes, because I'm just like, straight people just don't have a good reputation anymore. I know not everyone, obviously, but it's just crazy to me how common it is, especially in this climate, to be homophobic. It's like, get a fucking grip. Get a grip. If you're so scared of homophobic people, like, maybe you should do a little deep dive on yourself. All right. Update. 2 days later. I got an incredible amount of varying advice and support that I really appreciate. I explained the situation to my boss, who was very supportive and gave me some time off without an issue to deal with this. Last night, I left home and drove to them. They live in another part of Florida, but we all live there, and tried having a rational conversation with them before I took it. I pointed out the abuse I was learning was regularly at these communities. I told them all the stuff I've learned about these places. I demonstrated that it wouldn't even change her sexuality or opinion, and they just called me a liar or ignored me. I have never seen my parents in a lower regard. I didn't even bring up the money because I had a feeling that if I mentioned it, he would kick me out. Both of them seemed incredibly nonchalant about the whole entire thing. Then I made an appointment with a lawyer, and then later another. Both of them were LGBT friendly and had at least some experience with similar situations. And both spent about an hour explaining to me how I am completely legally screwed due to the nature of the gift and how it won't be interrupted as condition. And that I have absolutely zero legal grounds in getting my sister out. And that without even the name of the place, I can literally do nothing. I'm completely screwed. One drilled into me that I should not post about this to their friends, or it may make any legal action that could be possible later impossible. But both basically told me there wasn't a thing to be done. I was at my wit's end, and I had a last-ditch plan. I drove back to my father's home and told him I would give him my remaining savings, around $65K. But I lied and said $55K, so I would have a little something if he took her out of the camp and let her live with me. I was amazed that he would even consider it, because I always considered him such a high moral figure, but he stepped in the room with my mother for 5 minutes and said yes, but only if I did not involve the police. I told him he would need to sign a contract and wait a few days, and he told me he may not have an issue with that. He needs to think. But he did not want her legally in my name, but she can live with me, because he doesn't want to be on the bill for child support. I wanted to spit in his face, but I refrained. This just happened less than an hour ago. I made another appointment with another attorney tomorrow, but I don't think this is possible, and I may not show up to his office. If I give him the money without any obligation to return it, he would just take it and do nothing. My idea at the moment is to agree to give them the money without a contract as soon as she is out and back at the house and I see her, and then take her and move her to another state with her until she graduates. I can keep working in my current job from online until I get a new one. My father basically gave the impression that he had completely disowned her anyway, and I don't think he would spend the money a second time to get her into another place, but obviously I'm just guessing. Obviously I cannot have a legal contract written where I buy custody of a minor. Can I have one where they promise not to send her to another institution like that? Like, she must go to and graduate from X high school or something, or you must return the money. Is there anything I can do to make this work in a way that she's out with me, whether in my name with custody or not, and they don't have legal grounds to come and track us down and send her somewhere else? This sounds insane, but I am insane. I'm so worried. I'm vomiting randomly from guilt and stress. I can't sleep, so I'm going to down a few sleeping pills so I can go to bed. Thank you very much. You have helped me immensely. It's disgusting how much the legal system can screw over innocent teens. I've never felt more angry during a 4th of July in my life. I don't know how we can profess freedom when stuff like this happens and is legally justifiable. Edit, we met and he detailed to me how I can easily go to jail with my plan and just how dumb it is. I'm not giving them any money, but he made it clear that I have no legal recourse to get her. There's nothing I can do legally that will go anywhere. He advised me to try and settle this from a civil perspective. They won't listen to reason. I have never hated anyone more than them. I feel like I fell in a black hole and I don't see any way out. Well, I feel like at that point, like, does it even matter if you're doing something legal? Because if you're like, I would rather just get my sister out and like give them the 55K and then deal with whatever later. I don't know. I just feel like we run away and they probably won't even care to come find her if I give them money. That's what I'm a little confused about. I feel like my reading comprehension is failing me here because I'm a little confused about like the fact that he's saying like they give the money back, you must return the money. Like, why would they return the money that you give them? You know? I don't know. I'm a little bit confused about that, but I would just want my sister out of that place as soon as possible. Like, I don't even care if that lawyer is saying I can go to jail. Like, I don't care. I want my sister to be out of that fucking place. That terrible, awful place that's literally torturing her and only going to cause her to have more problems when she didn't even have a problem to begin with. Like, she's just going to come out of there totally mentally unwell, probably have PTSD. So I'm on this little article and it's talking about this documentary that came out and about camps like this. And it says, with parents' consent, staff would take teens from their homes in the dead of the night and take them to a wilderness camp in southern Utah. At the Challenger camp, they endured at least 63 days in the desert on a 500-mile hike. Teens were forced to sleep on the ground, carry heavy backpacks, or pull handcarts, and skin and cook animals for food. Staff yelled at them continually, they had no privacy or bathrooms, and they were punished if they complained, sometimes by being tied up by their hands and feet. The Netflix documentary interviewed former participants in this camp. While some who underwent this experience say they were helped, many others were traumatized. As a result, Cardisano and the Challenger Foundation eventually faced abuse allegations from families. Today, there are many wilderness programs across the United States, and many of these programs are safe, regulated, and accredited. Boo, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think if you're going in the middle of the night and steal, I don't know if this is still the case, but like if you're going in the middle, wilderness therapy for like, that would be, you're going outside and doing some yoga. Like you're going to do a little sound bath outside. We're going to go journal outside. So I feel like because they already have a bad rap, like how about let's just completely eliminate this? Because if there's even a chance, even a glimmer of a chance that something like that, they're going on a 500-mile hike and be having to skin animals, like absolutely not. I don't think, no. Because tell me how you could actually say, if you didn't even know, no, I don't know who I'm talking, you didn't even know, like these people got away with so much, and it wasn't just one camp. Like there are multiple camps that are out there. So it's like, you don't know what they're doing. You just want to turn your other cheek and act like nothing's happening. Ugh. Okay, whatever. Final update. 25 days later. This will be a short update, but the situation with my sister has ended on a positive note. It has been resolved. Currently, I'm in the hospital. I initially thought I had a bad flu from stress following the incident, but I wasn't getting any better, and yesterday I went to the doctor. She ordered me to the hospital for a spinal tap, and I actually contracted bacterial meningitis, so I'm not doing so well in that regard. I'm bored and feeling like garbage, but I have free time, and I have been meaning to write because this was just resolved. If this isn't entirely coherent, I apologize. My brain is obviously a bit fried right now. This is going to be horribly shortened. I did not give my father any money, and we both basically ended up pretending that I never offered the money and that he never theoretically accepted it. I found out the camp she was staying in, my mother frequently needs computer help, and it was one of the terribly described religious therapy camps several states away. I found several horror stories online from people who have attended this camp, and I showed it to mom and dad and found a sympathetic religious figure from the community they both respected, and I convinced them after much struggling to go pick her up with me. We did, and ended up flying there and picking her up with a lot of trouble. They didn't want to let me in at all, and took an extremely long time letting her see us, which made my parents very, very mad. And my parents were very upset about the small parts of the facility we were allowed to see. They told us our sister would lie and that they should go without seeing her, which made them madder. I thought we were going to have to call the police, but we eventually got her out after many hours spent there. I was nervous she would yell at them, but she knew to pretend she had changed without me needing to tell her. She's back home as of several days ago. I'm in the hospital as of yesterday. My parents are basically pretending they were tricked into the place being a 4-star resort and are laughing the whole thing off. Like they are equal victims in this. And this was all a wacky adventure where they stole my money and sent my sister to an abusive gay prison. Me and my sister have discussed it privately, and we've agreed that she will not make any waves until 18, and then she can live with me during college. Sadly, we still have 2 years until then. I despise my parents and cannot say a thing to them, which is infuriating. I hate their hypocrisy and BS, but we both have to swallow it for the moment. I'm finished with them completely and plan never to speak to them again after she is 18. This is written badly, but it's taken me forever and I can't really think to write now. This is definitely missing info, but that's the main points. Thanks for all the advice. It has really helped me get through the worst month of my life. Well, thank God she got out of there, but those parents can actually suck a huge... Yeah, seriously. The top comment says, I can't even imagine the dawning horror as you slowly realize you were tricked into bankrolling your own sister's torture. I would actually be so pissed, but I cannot believe that guy actually, like, oh my God, sorry. Why would I not? Like, it's crazy that he was like, don't tell your sister or your mom. Like, I would immediately be calling my mom and being like, hey, what's wrong with dad? Like, is he okay? Because that just seems sketchy to me. And I'm not blaming him at all. But for me, I just would be like, I'm not going to hand over 20 grand. Like, it's nothing. Like, I'm not going to be not telling anyone that I gave you 20 grand. That sounds so sketchy. It sounds like you're doing something extremely illegal. So let me actually, but I'm wondering why he said not to tell the mom, because the mom clearly was in on it. She didn't give a damn. It's just crazy to me that there are still these wilderness camps still are existing today. Like, there's many of them if you look them up. There's so many. Blue Fire Wilderness Therapy for Teens, outdoor therapy program for youth ages 11 to 28. Huh? Youth. That's crazy. Wilderness Crestage for girls. Christian. What? Christian Wilderness Therapy Adventure Therapy Program. No, I just think it's wild. It's like, there's no way that having this many. Oh, not one of them. Not one of them. The Wilderness Christian Camp in Gay, West Virginia. That's what the city or whatever is called. Gay. That is so funny. It's not funny because it's a wilderness camp and I don't know what goes on there. But the fact that it's a wilderness Christian camp and it's in a city or a town called Gay is extremely ironic. Because I'm sure there's some conversion therapy going on there. Is conversion therapy even legal? I mean, even if it's not, like, I'm sure these places still do shit like that. Like, and just like going to church sometimes is like giving conversion therapy, because when I would go to church religiously, like, they would always talk about how we accept you even if you are lesbian or gay, but just know that, like, that's just like a sin of the flesh and it's a temptation that you can be saved from, and Jesus died. Like, shut up. Shit like that pissed me off when I went to church. Like, I would always be so confused after, and I've always questioned that. Like, I found a bunch of shit that I used to write in, like, middle and high school of, like, why do people think being gay is wrong? Like, I would always be so confused because obviously I grew up in the Christian religion and like a very Christian community and going to youth group and stuff like that. And I just always wondered, like, ever since I was young, like, I don't understand why people think being gay is wrong. And why does God think being gay is wrong? Why is it in the Bible that being gay is wrong? Like, I always was so confused. And I don't even know, a couple months ago, I think I forgot what it was, but I found, like, an old memory of me, like, saying something about how I disagree with it. And I don't even know, I wrote it really, like, weirdly because I was so young, but I just remember always being so confused. And I mean, even like a lot of people around me, it was very taboo in my town to be gay. Like, there were two out people in my entire town and like surrounding towns. All right, we are going to read the next story. The title is, Am I the Asshole for Asking for My Dead Sister's Ring Back After My Brother Used It to Propose? My sister died when I was like 6 and she was 17. We weren't super close or anything, but I still remember little bits of her. Her laugh, how she always painted her nails, her posters. She was like this perfect angel to my mom after she passed. I barely remember the funeral. When I was like 12, I found this old ring in her stuff. Nothing fancy, just a silver ring with a small stone. It fit me, and I don't know why, but I kept it. It wasn't some big dramatic thing. I didn't steal it or anything. I just took it and started keeping it. I didn't wear it loads or flaunt it. Just had it in this little box, and sometimes I would look at it when I missed her. It kind of became this one thing that felt like mine, like my piece of her. So anyways, last week we had this family lunch, and my brother, 27 male, brings his girlfriend, who everyone knew he was going to propose to. And yeah, he stands up, does the big speech, and pulls out the ring. My sister's ring. The one that I've kept for like 7 years. I literally froze. His girlfriend starts crying, people are clapping, and I'm just sat there like, WTF. I look at my mom, and she just smiles at me like nothing happened. After dinner, I ask her, was that the ring? And she said, yeah, your brother asked me and Dad, and we said it was fine. She said it was sweet and symbolic, and my sister would have wanted it passed down or whatever. And I was like, it was never yours to give, though. I've had it for years. And she just goes, oh, come on, it's just a ring. Don't be dramatic. But when I had it, it wasn't just a ring. So I kind of snapped. I waited till people were outside and told my brother that I wanted it back. He laughed at first and then was like, no, WTF? And I said, okay, well, then I'll tell your girlfriend where it came from and let her decide. He got mad, said I was ruining his proposal and making it about me like always. My mom dragged me into the kitchen, saying everyone noticed I wasn't happy and that I left halfway through dinner. Yeah, because I was crying in the bathroom. Dad tried to calm it down, but my brother kept going on about how selfish I was and that I would be weird. I'd been weird about my sister for years. I didn't even say anything. I just left early and haven't spoken to any of them since. My mom called me yesterday saying, have I calmed down and am I ready to say sorry? And I said, not really, and she hung up. My cousin texted me later saying it was actually super messed up and she doesn't blame me, but I don't know. I probably could have handled it better, but I just felt so blindsided. It's not even about the stupid ring. It's just like they acted like it didn't matter to me. Like I didn't matter. So am I the asshole? No, because that is crazy. I mean, obviously, it's the ring that you've had of your sister's for years, so I'm not really sure why that would ever be a thing. And also, I'm a little confused about why would that be passed down to his fiance, of all people. I feel like, if anything, you could give it to your future fiance to propose to you, but like him giving it to his fiance is so silly to me. And I don't know. It's also like, is it? I don't even know. Someone said, not the asshole. How did he even get the ring? It's not a family heirloom because that's his sister. He probably just found an easier way to propose to his girlfriend without paying anything. Honestly, the whole situation is weird. Of all rings in the world, why this one? That's what I'm saying. Like, why are you taking this ring? Why that one? It's kind of strange. She said, well, I often leave it in a small unlocked box. It's an inexpensive ring, but it is extremely pretty. And if someone proposed to me with that ring without knowing the context, I would be quite happy. Well, I feel like the whole point of it is knowing the context of the ring, correct? Because the whole point is like, it's the sister's ring that they're like passing down or whatever. They're making it into a family heirloom, I guess, which is fine if you want to do that. But like, I just feel like the situation is so weird, especially because the girlfriend doesn't even know, or the fiance doesn't even know. The update is the next day. It says, while the final judgment of my last post seemed to be not the asshole, I'm still so confused with the overwhelming amount of comments that said I was in the wrong. But one thing that a lot of people did say is that I need to tell my brother's fiance, and I guess that's right, as it did feel like I ruined her day with my strop. So afterwards, I messaged, apologized, and asked her to meet up for lunch as an apology for the other day. I wasn't going to ask for the ring back. I just wanted her to at least know my side of the story, I guess. Anyways, we meet up for lunch, small talk or whatever, and she shows me the ring and tells me that, oh, it's so pretty. I know it's not expensive, but if it means so much to your brother for me to have it, it means so much to me. Okay, just miss out crucial info when telling your future wife then, I guess. I kind of just stared at the ring and didn't know what to say, and I guess she must have noticed because she began apologizing a lot, saying, I didn't know, I'm sorry. And I finally got my ring back, or whoever's ring you want to call it. I was near tears. She took me back to my friend's house as I thought that was going to be it. Later, I get a call from my brother where he says that I'm selfish and I'm so weird about my sister, and that I couldn't let him have his day, and that it had to be about me, telling me that I just ruined his marriage and that I can't claim anything with my sister because I was way too young to have a relationship. He ended the call, and I tried calling both my parents, but they wouldn't pick up till my dad called later, telling me how disappointed he is with how I handle things and that I've blown up my brother's relationship over a person I barely knew. And honestly, I don't know. At this point, I feel like it's all gone a bit too far. I don't think I can ever bear coming home, and I've just ruined my brother's marriage. Am I the asshole? What are they talking about? Over a person I barely knew? Boo. That's fucked. Okay, way to be so empathetic. Like, hello? Just because she was young doesn't mean that it didn't affect her. Like, I feel like at a young, even at, well, that's like a very important hello? Am I okay? I love words. That's a very important developmental age for a child. Like, from birth to 5 is like you're very, I don't know what to call it, but fuck. I don't know how to say smart words, guys. But it's a crucial time. It's when you are most like moldable or whatever. So obviously she was 6, but like still, come on, that's basically 5. Ugh. Commenter 1 said, if simply knowing the full truth was enough to make her leave, it means your brother was manipulating her anyways. You saved that woman, not the asshole. Wait, see, I'm sorry, the way that this was written was not great. So you're telling me she left? Oh, you're telling me that she left him? That's kind of slay, honestly. That's tea as fuck. He seems actually awful. Like, I wouldn't want to marry a man who's being like that to his sister and being like, why are you so weird about our sister? Weird? Like, sorry that I'm sad and that my sister died when I was 6 years old? Update 2. My parents blame me for ruining my brother's marriage over my dead sister's ring. But essentially, after I told my brother's ex-fiance that the ring he used to propose was a keepsake I kept of my late sister, she gave it back and I presume broke up with him. As of now, I've been staying at my friend's house and will be moving in to stay with my boyfriend for a bit when he comes back from holiday. My parents have taken his side and they want nothing to do with me. My brother is the same. No one in my family, even if they are sympathetic, can get through to them and amend stuff. It seems the only way to repair the relationship would be to give the ring back, but even then I don't think I can. I'm at a loss and I don't know what to do or how to go about it. It feels like I'll never be able to come home. Dude, I'm sorry, your parents actually suck. Like, hugely. Like, terribly, badly, awfully, they suck. And so does your brother. Someone said, Here's the thing. Your golden child brother is not going to pan out as a functioning adult in life, and he won't be able to take care of your parents as they get older. So live your life, do the best you can, and just wait. Your parents will come crawling back one day. By the way, the fiance broke up with your brother because he was so cheap he stole a ring from his baby sister that belonged to his deceased sister that the living sister used as comfort. The kind of man that can do that is not the kind of man any woman of merit will ever want to be with. That's what I'm fucking saying. Clap, 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 girl, because that's how I feel. I would, if I found that out about my boyfriend, I would be so disgusted. I would vomit all over his shoes. This is the last update. I feel like before I say anything, I need to clarify things that people were confused about in my last post. Yes, I understand my writing style was messy. I was very emotional when I wrote my post, and I did leave out some details. The ring isn't cheap. It's the color silver. It feels metallic and has a small stone. I have no clue how expensive it is. My sister died when she was 17. My brother was 14. We don't ever talk about her. It rarely comes up other than the occasional time my mom reminisces. I wasn't close to her. I mean that in a way that we didn't have a typical sibling relationship, but we still spent the time together. She would brush my hair, drive me to the park. What I told the fiance is what I essentially explained in the post. I don't know why I didn't clarify it. I'm sorry, that was really messy. As for what's happening, I'm now living with my boyfriend and his parents on a semi-temporary basis. I met up with my aunt for coffee and she told me it's best if I don't go back. Even if I give the ring back, my parents think I've burnt all my bridges. They have this idea that due to my age, I can't claim to have had a relationship with my sister. Everyone else has had tons of fond memories of her, and I only have essentially a glimmer. They think it's weird how I act about her. They claim they've noticed it since her funeral, and they've only just now spoken up about it. My brother is extremely angry. He thinks all I do is try and replace my older sister, the way I dress, and the subjects I chose, and that until I decide I'm not her and can never be her, he won't even look in my direction. My aunt says she's tried to reason with them, but to no avail. The decision is out of my hands at this point. Nothing I can do but move on. Thank you all for those who have helped me. I appreciated everyone's perspective, but to the guy who DM'd me to try and buy my nudes, you're actually a wrongin'. The fact that they're downplaying your relation, even if you didn't have any relationship with her and she never took you to the park or brushed your hair or even really talked to you, you have every right to be sad. Your feelings are valid. That's your sister. You can be sad about someone that dies in your life and you can feel badly about it. And I don't understand why people feel the need to downplay or be like, you didn't even know her that well, or you weren't even that good of friends with her. Okay, sorry that I will get sad about someone that I was just acquaintances with dying because they're dead and I knew them, or even just someone that I've never even known. I still will get sad. Obviously, I'm not gonna keep something of theirs and reminisce on them or anything, but so it's obviously different. But this is her sister. What the hell's wrong with people? People are so fucked up. It's so sorry that I'm sad about a loved one that died. Oh my God, burn me at the stake. Wow. I really apologize for having any feelings at all about it. I should just be super happy and skip away and be like, la-di-da, I'm so happy that my sister's dead. And you guys should be sad about it, but I have no right because why would I be sad? That is just actually insane. Do you have any scientific evidence as to why she shouldn't be sad about it? It just makes no sense. Ew. Someone said, yikes, that's awful. Also, how can you simultaneously have no memory of your sister while also copying her? Your family is out of touch with reality. And then someone said, your behavior around your sister's death and memory is normal. It's healthy to want a personal connection with her. She is, after all, your sister. Most people would feel similarly to you. Unfortunately, the toxicity and weird behavior by your brother and parents is not normal. They sound immature and full of resentment, like they own your sister's memory, and therefore, how dare you intrude on that? To be honest, their behavior sounds abusive towards you, almost like they're all channeling all their pain surrounding your sister's passing towards you. Do you understand what I'm saying? This current situation is a convenient excuse for them to vent this rage on you. It is not your fault this is happening. that your sister passed and you are present trying to understand who she was. Your family doesn't deserve you. Don't beg for forgiveness nor a relationship with individuals who are so committed to rejecting your presence so thoroughly. They are not safe for you. I think therapy would help. Focus on other extended family members and your chosen family. Boyfriend, in-laws, friends. Good luck. Exactly. Please. This person said, someone correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm an only child, but given the age gap, that's 100% a typical sibling relationship, right? Yeah, it is. I'm not really, like, was she supposed to have deep conversations with her at the age of 6 years old? At the age of 6 years old, I was stealing my sister's friend's candy and being, like, begging for them to give me whatever they had. And, like, was I having a deep conversation with her? No, I didn't know more than 20 words in the dictionary. I'm not really sure what they're expecting of her. Like, you are just, you have every right to be just as upset. So that's just so annoying. I hate that. I feel like that's such, like, honestly, that's such a common thing where it's like, oh, you weren't even like, I've talked about it before about how my friend who I was best friends with in high school and in the couple first years of college that I fell out of touch with and passed away. But she was like, I was like best friends with her in high school. Like, we were inseparable, and I had never really had like a best friend relationship like that before, and I still haven't ever, like, I haven't ever felt that like friendship connection with someone like I did with her. Even though I've had best friends since then, I feel like our friendship was so different and so, like, I don't know what to call it, like extraordinary, I guess. I don't know. Very unique, and we were very close, and we kind of fell out of touch because I moved away. We stayed in touch for the first couple of years of college, but then we kind of fell out of touch. And then about a year or two later, she passed away from a very tragic car accident, and I was extremely upset. Sorry, every time I talk about it, I cry, but I still get upset about it, like now thinking about it or talking about it. And for a while, like, it's been a while, but for years after, I cried very often. I don't usually cry about it anymore unless I, like, am talking about it. But I had that feeling of, like, guilt because I hadn't been close with her for the past, like, 2 years up until her death. And that was something that I struggled with a lot, of, like, feeling like, do I have the right to be sad about this? Because I wasn't close with her anymore at that point when she passed away, and it had been like a year or two. I can't remember if it was like a year and a half or two that we hadn't been friends, but I remember it was like still pretty fresh. And if she was still alive, I do think that our friendship would have rekindled. Like, we would have rekindled our friendship. But I feel like it's pretty common for that kind of stuff to happen. And so that's something that I've had to come to terms with, that, like, it is, my feelings are valid. Like, if you're sad about something, you're never wrong about being sad about something. Like, your feelings are valid. And I, like, would gaslight myself out of being sad about it. And I'd be like, oh, I don't even know. But you probably, if you've experienced something similar, you probably know what I mean. But yeah, that's my story. I don't even know if that made sense, but I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go film a Patreon episode for this Saturday. So if you want an extra episode, it's every Saturday. It's been months since I've been doing Patreon every Saturday. I haven't missed a Saturday. And so if you become a member now, there's a lot of episodes to catch up on. They're each like 20 minutes usually. Some of them are like 30 minutes. But yeah, last week we did My Boyfriend is AI. We did that subreddit. which is just crazy. It's a very interesting subreddit to go through. So I'm going to go film for Patreon. The link is in the description if you ever want to become a member. There's 2 tiers, $5 one and a $10 one. And I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know what you thought about those stories. Let me know your opinions and your takes if you've been through something similar or anything like that. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.